The Raptors still cannot get to the 500 mark, as they lose the road game to the Milwaukee Bucks 118-111 and fall to 35-37 on the year. But you know what? I hate moral victories at this time of year, especially how desperate this Raptor team is for wins. But you look at the circumstances. Milwaukee hasn't played since Thursday. The Raptors just played a game yesterday, had to travel on a back-to-back, and play one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NBA. You're asking for trouble. And for the majority of the game, the Raptors were right in it. I'm going to quickly rip through the first three quarters. You're down 4 after one quarter. You were even in the second quarter, but you're down 4 at the half. However, Scottie Barnes leaves the game in the second quarter. We get the update in the third quarter saying he will not return. And Fred VanVleet puts the team on his back, does a phenomenal job just carrying the lineup in that third quarter. Phenomenal all-around ball. You win that quarter 39-31, and just like that, the Raptors are up by 6. Right? No, up by 4, excuse me. They're up by 4. Heading into the fourth quarter. You're exactly where you need to be. Just find a way to win this quarter. And then 2 things happen. One, we remember Scottie Barnes is not around. Because starting that fourth quarter, they like to rest Fred. They like to take it easy a bit with him, right? And then bring him back in for the final punch. And Scottie has done a hell of a job all year long in fourth quarters, kind of carrying that lineup to start the fourth. Well, it doesn't happen because he's not there, and they go Will Barton instead. Well, Will Barton, I don't think he makes a shot. The other thing, Nick Nurse, Brook Lopez comes on the floor to start the fourth. And in my mind, I'd think, well, there you go, Jakob Poeltl, call the number, get out there. Because you have nobody else who can guard that guy. Nobody. OG's off the floor. You got Pascal, Boucher, Will Barton. Is Precious out there maybe? I don't know. Who's going to guard Lopez there? He personally goes on an 8-0 run to start the fourth quarter. The team overall goes on a 10-0 run to the Bucks. Then Jakob Poeltl comes back in. But now you're trailing. Their fans are fired up. Their team's up standing. They're all jacked up. And the energy's back in the Bucks bench. And sure, the Raptors cut it to 2 points at one point. Made it interesting. But in the end, the Bucks had it in control. And they win it by 7, 118, 111. Those are the 2 things I look at as reasons the Raptors lost. Then you could also throw the excuse of being on a back-to-back in the fourth quarter on the road against one of the best teams in the league. Sure. But I'm going to go with the first 2. You throw Jakob Poeltl out there in that first little bit. Does Lopez make all 8? We'll never know. But the way he was bullying guys in the paint, it was ugly. And the Raptors has struggled mightily offensively in that quarter. They can't get anything going because, look, let's be honest. What did we learn back in 2019? Hell, what did we learn years past? Defense leads to offense, right? Your defense fuels your offense. Well, in this case, it was vice versa. Their offense was cruising, had a 10-0 run to start, and they flipped the game, and they're up 6. And their defense starts to pick up intensity. Raptors can't score. They just got to give it to Fred and pray he makes shots. But in the end, you can't get it done. You lose the fourth quarter by 13, 29, 16. You score 16 points in the fourth quarter and drop it. It's tough. It's tough to see that fourth quarter go down the way it did. But you got to move on. You got to credit a good team for closing out on home court, right? I guess that's where I'm going to leave it there. Player stats. Jakob Poeltl, 20.6 boards. Shot 10 of 18 from the field. Had 2 blocks. The plus-minus wasn't great. And if that's the reason Nick Nurse didn't play him, then I don't know. Because what's your other option, coach? You don't have another big guy to guard him. And I checked to see, once I realized that he wasn't on the floor, I'm like, what, is Yak in foul trouble? No. Okay, why is he not out there then? He had 20 and 6. He had a good night. Scottie Barnes obviously leaves the game with a wrist injury, and I got this scary feeling it's the wrist thing he's been dealing with all year long. And so we'll see what happens. He'll be reevaluated tomorrow, and we'll see what happens going into the next game, I believe, against the Indiana Pacers at Scotiabank Arena on Wednesday. So you have some time here to figure it out, but just make this kid healthy. I mean, I'm not saying rush it because, let's be honest, he's a mainstay of the future for this team. The last thing you want is damaged goods the rest of the way. That sounds awful, but a damaged player for the future. Fred VanVleet, he was outstanding. Honestly, I thought Fred, like we talked about in the game yesterday, the pick and roll stuff with Jakob, it just opens up his entire offense, and he did a phenomenal job. 23 points today, 4 boards, had 11 assists as well, albeit quite a few of those are probably to Jakob. 9 of 21 from the field, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 3 of 8 from distance. It felt like he shot a lot better percentage-wise, but in the end, maybe it was some late shots in the game where nobody was making shots late and he had to just chuck up some Hail Marys. I don't know. Pascal Siakam, look, 12 boards, 7 assists. Looks great. She had 13 points, though, on 5 of 14 shooting. I'm sorry, if that's your number one option, he's got to do a better job of scoring the ball. I get it. Yeah, sure, he did all these other things, but he's getting paid the big bones. He's averaging 25 a night. The last 2 games, what have we talked about? How amazing he was. Rough starts, but been incredible the rest of the way, leading to wins. Today, tough time making shots. Look, the double-double was nice. 13, 12, and 7. Not a bad stat line, but 5 of 14, 2 of 2 from the line, 1 of 5 from 3. And I bet you 3 of those 4 misses that he had at the least were wide open threes that he just clanked. Did have 2 steals in the game as well, though. It pains me to see his shot totals as low as they are because the dude's hot. 22 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, took 12 shots. Was 8 of 12 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line, 4 of 5 from 3, had a steal and a block. Why is OG? He took 9 shots in the last game. He took 12 shots today. He's been so efficient recently. Why is he not shooting much? I get it. The rock can only go so far and to so many people. I get that. But dude's hot. Wouldn't you want to feed him more? I don't know. That's just my thought on that. Love what OG's bringing right now. He's just playing some phenomenal ball. Gary off the bench, percentage-wise, quite ugly from the field at least. 6 of 18, but 18 points, 3 boards, 6 of 18 from the field, 1 and 2 from the line, 5 of 10 from 3. Hey, he made 5 threes off the bench. Really can't complain about that. You got a little energy from Precious today, better than what we've seen for the last 3 weeks from him. Chris Boucher is just outmatched with the size. It was a lot of tough watching from the bench other than Gary and a hint of Precious Achiuwa. Team stats, they shot 52% from the field. Raptors only shot 44% from the field. I believe we took 11 more shots and only made 1 more field goal. Those are the painful ones. I think was it the last game? It was the last couple games where you dominated the possession battle and you dominated the makes, which was beautiful, right? Not tonight. Albeit that's a hell of a team. I mean, 41% from the field for the Raptors. They only shot 36% from the field. I think they made a couple more threes, though, because they shot a ton. 76% from the free throw line were the Bucks, 75% for the Raptors. And with the way the Milwaukee Bucks play, they love to get into the paint and kick out and survey from there. If it's a wide open 3, they take it. If it's not, they swing it and they find that open 3. And they did that's what they do. And you saw it quite often today. How many of their threes were wide open trays? It's tough to guard. And for a team of the Raptors who always have a tough time guarding the 3, that was on full display today. And it's crazy. Listen to these numbers, right? I think you won the offensive boards battle by a couple. The second chance points were 18-2 in favor of the Raptors. In the fast break, were 15-9 in favor of the Raptors. Points out of turnovers were 15-7 in favor of the Raptors. They did their job. But again, I credit to that early goings of the fourth quarter where Obviously not having Scottie's one thing, but the not putting out Jakob really is the one that's under my skin and the one that's in my brain. You guys can disagree with me. I don't know if you will or not, but that's just my thought. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right? Now, the next 3 games for the Toronto Raptors are crucial. They are crucial because, look, the Atlanta Hawks, I don't know, did they play tonight, did the Hawks? They did, and they lost to the Spurs. So they're in the exact same boat as we are for that number 8 seed, in the Eastern Conference. The odds of the Raptors getting 7 are slim to none. So, they have to go on an insane run the rest of the way, which, let's be honest here, I think you end the season with, like, the Bucks and 2 Celtics games. Albeit, if they're all locked up, they might rest guys, so it might look a little different, but the Atlanta Hawks are the team you're trying to catch, because then at that point you get a home basketball game. And we see the home road splits for the Raptors. You want to be at home if you're playing in a play-in game, right? That's all there is to it. Your next 3 games are against the Pacers, the Pistons, and the Wizards, all at home. I think they have I don't know what the next game is after that. There's the Pacers game, the Pistons game on the Friday, the Wizards game on the Sunday, and then you have Miami at home. So if you have any thought of trying to find a way to get up to that 7 seed, which, again, I don't see happening, you've got to win those next 4 games. It's happened once this year. This team has won 4 in a row, but if they want that, and look, it's doable. These next 3 games are they're behind you, these 3 teams. It's very winnable basketball games. They should, in fact, win those games. Let's see what they can do. They're all at home. So, and I'll be at that Miami game, actually. So that'll be a lot of fun. Shout out to my girlfriend for getting tickets for that. Absolute mint. So you know what, guys? That's going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and the first 3 quarters to this game for the Toronto Raptors, smack the like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button. You guys not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, thoughts on the game. Would you like, would you not like? From today's game for the Toronto Raptors, the Twitter and Instagram links are down below. So follow up, send me a DM, guys. Do all that great stuff. The Discord and TikTok links are down below. So if you have not checked out that already, please go do so. And I will talk to you guys, Jay's Edition, on Wednesday, wrapping up this past week's games, of course. And I think that'll be the last spring training one before we do a season preview, so I can't wait for that. As for the Leafs, they're back in action on Tuesdays. They're in New York taking on the Islanders. A big win for the Devils over the Lightning tonight. So the Leafs are 3 points up in the Lightning with 2 games in hand. A really good spot, but the Leafs just got to do their job. And that's all there is to it. All right? As for the Raptors, as we talked about, they're back in action on Wednesday as they are hosting the Indiana Pacers at Scotiabank Arena. 7:30 tip-off there. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and 3 quarters of this game. We'll talk to you guys then.